Happy Wednesday. Um, what's on my mind today that I want to share is another sort of tip or trick for that I ended up accruing in my day to day that keeps me um, doing healthier things. Um, so like for example, I like this came about because I noticed I started kind of getting like more depressed lately, and I was sleeping a lot more, eating less, and it's like wasn't taking as good care of myself as like I had been when I first started getting sober. And so what I started asking myself, like when I'm noticing like I'm not doing something, or like when I'm starting to feel like uncomfortable with like my free time, or getting worried about whatever's happening next, because I'm like where I'm living, like we focus on like paying off debt, and so like I had an appointment yesterday, every Tuesday, to meet with my budget counselor, my case manager, and I was getting real anxious because I knew we'd have to call this law company that um, is in charge of like three files that they have of like debt that I owe to them, and one of them is like going to court later this month, and one already went to court, and so I was feeling really anxious about that, and then what came up in my mind was how would I act or be right now if I knew that everything was okay. If I knew and trusted that, um, you know, God was gonna take care of me and support me, and that He had sent people to be around me that could support me. Hillcrest is what I'm talking about. Um, like, how would I act or feel knowing it was all okay? Like, what would I be doing with this time before my meeting? And I realized, like, I took a deep breath, and I was like, well, if I knew that, then I wouldn't be sick to my stomach, and I wouldn't be um, worried. I would probably just take a nap or go for a walk, maybe watch some funny videos. And so I started doing that, and then like affirming, like I'm taken care of, like I'm in the right place for this, like everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay. Um, God wants me to succeed. I'm around people that want to see me succeed, and so that helped calm me down. So what I'm getting at is one thing that's really helped me is when I start noticing I'm having a harder time like working out or eating healthy, or like I feel the energy within me sort of go stagnant or stale or like negative, where it's like I'm like, oh, and this my thinking could easily turn into like, oh, I want to use, because that's what I would do whenever I didn't know what to do with my time. When I can feel that I'm in this like threshold of like I could either go forward or fall back, when I'm feeling that moment within me, what I do is I ask myself, how would I act, feel, be, what would I do if I knew that it was all okay? If I knew that I was safe, if I trusted that I was safe, if I trusted that I'm looked out for, and if I knew that I was worthy, how would I act or behave if I knew I was worthy? That's the biggest thing for me, because with my addiction, you know, it really hurt my self worth and my sense of power. Being able to be powerful without drugs, being able to be successful without drugs, being able to accomplish anything without drugs. So when I get to that threshold, I keep asking myself, what would I do in this moment? How would I behave, knowing that I'm worthy, and that I am and can be successful without drugs? Like, how would I behave differently? And what I find is like what that offers you is a moment to step into like a new place of power. So, for example, like at nighttime, I was feeling kind of sad the other night, and I was like, how would I go to bed? What would I do? How would I act in this moment, knowing I'm worthy of being healthy, knowing I'm worthy of safety, knowing I'm worthy of this really nice place that I'm staying at? How would I act? And I paused, and then I went and washed my face, and then I brushed my teeth, and then I prayed, and meditated. And then I laid down and put on my affirmations that I listen to at night to go to sleep. But if I wouldn't have asked myself that question, I would have been like real uncomfortable, probably pacing around my apartment, smoking on my vape outside, which I am quitting doing. I'm in the process of. Um, so it's really about realizing like a lot of what we're doing and how we're behaving is coming from a mindset that we haven't even consciously really identified. You know, like chances are if you're using drugs or substances, you don't feel worthy of being healthy, or you don't feel able to be you without that. So like when you pause and you ask yourself, how would I act in this moment knowing I have all the power within me to achieve what I want to in my life without drugs, without substance, without relationships, like romantic relationships or whatever? How would I behave knowing that I'm whole? What would I act like? What would that be like? You know, because like we often hold this perspective of like, oh, I'm me, and then those people out there, like they get to have this, they get to have that. You know, like we compare ourselves. But if we pause and we go, how would I act? How would I be if I was whole? If I knew I was whole? Well, I'd probably take better care of myself. And so it's like you just act on that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but so my my tip of the day that I'm sharing that I've been using is just having, you know, the pause, like pausing and like really asking yourself, what would I do if I knew blank? Insert the thing that you're usually worried about. So if you're like if like let's say if you like want to go out and be more active in like the community, but you stay at home, and maybe you like what you do that makes you stay at home is like you drink or you smoke or you eat a whole bunch, I don't know, whatever bad habit, you know, of that kind of keeps you feeling separated but keeps you dreaming of wanting that one thing that you don't have because of what you're doing, and ultimately how you're feeling internally that's not consciously like verbalized into thought. You know what you do is you'd say, um, so if you find like, oh man, I want to go outside or I want to go to that thing out in the community, but you're having like resistance within you, you know, I would say something like, how would I move in this moment knowing that I'm cherished, that I'm safe, and that I'm wanted, and that I'm worthy of relationships, that I'm worthy of belonging? How would I act knowing that? And then your mind might go, oh, I'd probably go for a walk at the park, or maybe I'd go to the farmer's market, or maybe I'd go to the art museum, or maybe I would just go walk around downtown. And then you do that. And it sounds very similar to like saying, um, like when you're trying to get sober, you go, oh, you just get sober, or oh, you just do the thing. You have a goal you're trying to meet, you just do the thing. But what happens is it gets hard to meet that thing because there's something that's not shifting within you that's keeping you stuck in that place. It's like we always get stuck in that trap of like, I want to, but I can't. It's like, and you can't explain it. And what's happening is you're not addressing the block that's happening within your body, within your programming, within your mind, within your heart, within your spirit, whatever you want to call it. You're not addressing like, so whenever you realize that you're at that precipice of like, I want this over here, but I'm here, and something, and you can't really identify what it is. What it is that is you go, oh, something in me is obvious, and you can make it obvious because if it's obvious in the fact that you're not just doing the thing, but you're wanting the thing, obviously. So the obvious thing is some part of you is feeling unworthy or incapable of obtaining this thing over here. So by doing what I'm saying, like, is you're walking yourself through that process of you're addressing the thing like head on, going, okay, I'm here doing this, but I want to do this. What does it mean? Like, what would someone have to want to and be able to show up over here? Oh, well, if somebody just goes out and does something in the community, that says that they feel safe and that they belong and that they're worthy of being there. So that means if I'm not doing that, then that means I'm obviously having some issue of feeling like I don't deserve that or that I wouldn't belong. So you like it's like a little mind trick where you go, well, what would I do if I knew? If I knew wholeheartedly that I do belong, I'd probably go do that thing. It just allows for like a shift in your mind. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. And if not, then by all means tell me I made 0 sense and I can try again if you want me to. Um, but that's something that was really exciting for me to realize, like, and it works rather quickly, like it, and it's something like these aren't things that you just do once and then you're forever doing it. Like the reprogramming is essential in any healing journey, especially when it comes to addiction, for sure. You know, it's about every time you get to that moment of like, oh, I could do this thing over here that I've always wanted to do, but I chose this substance or this habit over here instead because I didn't know I was worthy of this. It's allowing the reprogramming to happen. So you might have to walk yourself through that every day like I do, sometimes every hour like I do. But the point is, like, that's what's happening is there's a there's a part of you going, I'm not programmed, or I've never had permission or the option or the idea that I could believe in more for myself, and it feels uncomfortable. So like whenever you offer that back in, like, well, how would you act if you knew you were? Because in that moment you're kind of saying you are worth it, or you are that thing. Affirmations come in handy, changing your thinking comes in handy. So anyways, I do hope that sharing that helps. It I just like talking about me kind of sometimes, uh, but no, for real. uh, Whoever watches this, you're doing good. You'll get there. um, it's all in the power of your own thinking, and be conscious about what you're wanting to experience, even if it doesn't seem possible. Like, it's all about making that choice in every little moment. How would I show up knowing I'm worthy and I'm healthy and I'm whole and that I deserve success like anyone else? And then little changes happen, and then every time you have a hard time, you just rinse and repeat, and then over time you won't have to be so like verbal about it. Like, it will just happen naturally. So anywho, have a good day. Bye.